Hello folks, it's Tara. Today we're going to learn how to hang an indoor grow light for plants. Josh has volunteered to do the hard work and he's going to show us everything he's got here for the lamp hanging out of the box and how you start it up. Go ahead, Josh.
I have the hooks that you're going to put in the ceiling, and then I have little clips here that go into the light for the chains. And on your clips here, there's two holes. You go in the first hole and the second, just like that.
There you go. And that's pretty universal no matter what type of light that you're going to buy. They're all pretty well set up the same way, unless you get one that's standing. And those are typically an LED or a fluorescent light because they need to be close to the plant. So any hanging light you buy, 99 times out of 100 is going to have this exact same setup with the hooks. And you have some chain there that comes with it. You don't have to buy any chain. So there you go. And we're going to hang this about 24 inches above the plants. Being incandescent lights, a soft warm light, which I recommend for indoor growing of most types of vegetables and herbs. And that's about the tallest that you want to go, lowest you want to go by the plant, 24 to 36 inches. And 36 is something that you want to maybe raise it to as your plants start to grow and get taller, so your light's not too close to the plants. Okay, Josh, let's commence with the hanging.
All right, I'm going to move the lights.
He has an Allen wrench to do tightening up of the big hook things that come with it. He's going to go up here, and our ceiling is just a drywall ceiling. You can do this with a plasterboard ceiling too, but you're going to need to drill a hole first. It's a little bit more difficult if you're dealing with plaster. But if you're dealing with drywall or tile, they can just screw right in. Depending on your type of tile, you may also need to drill a hole. Most ceilings are simple drywall. And this light weighs what, Josh? 3 pounds maybe? 5?
Yeah, probably 3 to 5 pounds.
So it's not going to be bearing a lot of weight. So that's also helpful. If you have a ceiling that you don't want to drill into because of you're afraid about the weight of your light, or if it's maybe ceramic tile, something else more expensive, you're worried about working with the plaster and creating too big of a hole, you can get a light that's on a stand instead of a hanging light. Hanging lights are typically cheaper, but you're just drilling that right in the drywall, twisting it on up in. And the chain is adjustable, so if you're going to decide that you have a little bit too low, you're getting some scorching of your plants, or they aren't getting enough light, you can adjust it easily by just getting up on a ladder and adjusting the links in the chain. You don't have to do any rehanging. And he just put an Allen wrench in there. You could use a screwdriver or anything else, just something that can go through the opening, which is about big enough to slide a finger into it, maybe, pinky finger at least. There you go.
All right, now I got a tape measure here. I'm going to measure where I need to put the other hook.
Let's scoot back Alva's road a bit. Typically you can center the light in the middle of your table, unless you get your table very full, which this one is going to be. So I'm actually going to hang 2 lights, so I know I have good light all the way across. So I'm going to hang this one on the edge of the table and get another one and hang it from the other edge of the table. So there we go. He's marking a spot so it's lining up with the holes to attach on the light, so it's nice and level. And to figure out how far you should get it, you just go ahead and measure on the light, which he did when we were off camera. See how far apart the openings are where the chain hooks onto the light. Just screwing that in. This whole process only takes a couple of minutes. No fancy hardware. A little too much play in it.
Yeah, I'm going to move it just a little bit.
You might have hit the holes we had last year. That's something you have to think about if you're going to rehang from year to year. You might be having to adjust your table, go in a little bit, or move the light over a little bit. If you keep hitting the same holes every year, you'll run into the problem Josh is right now that's already been drilled out just a bit. And if you don't want to use the LED or the fluorescent lights because of concerns about the hard light, more intense light it gives on your plants, you could build you a little frame above your table, a simple wood frame that goes, a wood bar that goes across the top, or a metal one with supports going down the side, similar to something you would get to hang an easel on. Then you are just having supports on the ground and a bar going above your plants. And you can also skip the ceiling hanging. Josh is getting the chain ready over here, gauging the size that we need. Back up the ladder. And how does that hook on there, Josh? I'm trying to get a little bit closer.
I'm just going to loop it like this.
Right through the opening?
Yep, right through the opening. I'm going to do the other one the same way, and then we'll measure how far you want away from your plants, and then we'll see where we need to hook the light.
Alrighty, so he's going to get down here and get the other one. nice, quick, fairly easy, as long as you can find a place to screw in the hooks into your ceiling without a problem. Like I said, it's not very much weight to support. It's a little bit of measuring, a little bit of ladder time. So now we have both hooks up, so we can move the ladder out of the road and get down here closer to ground level.
But how far do you want it away from the plants?
24 inches. And that's great if you're starting seeds, you're growing herbs that aren't very tall. And plan ahead to leave room to adjust them up to about 36 inches. As your plants get taller, they will grow on up into the light and be too close to the light. I'm going to try growing some tomatoes indoors, maybe even green beans, instead of just the usual herbs and onions and garlic and carrots. So I'm going to need a little bit more flexibility and height. Come in here closer, Josh, and see how you're connecting that on.
Alright. I'm just going to go from this loop right here. There. Just make sure your hook don't come out like that one did.
And if need be, you could crimp it just a little bit on the, not on the hook itself, but on the little links in the chain. Or you can wrap a bread tie around it. There you go. And hooking the other one in the exact same way. Just going to put 2 links, because you have 2 sides dangling down. It may involve stepping back for a minute, or perhaps even a woman's eye, to make sure it's hanging exactly level. There you go. Use the one to pull it up, kind of like a pulley. That looks nice and level to me. And once you step back, if you realize it isn't, you just come back over and rehook your loops. And pull it in and test it. And we have light. It is as simple as that, folks. We have a light hanging 24 inches above the table. And you can go ahead and get ready to plant. And the next video in the article will talk about rotating your plants around and making sure they all get the amount of light that they need.